Great seeing my next guest back in action. He's going to be taking on Jordan Espinosa at UFC 259 on March 6th. It's Tim Elliott back here on the program. Tim, how's it going?
Going good, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Always good talking to you. I know you're supposed to fight on January 16th against Jordan. He got COVID. Were there any talks of you getting another opponent, or was the plan to always rebook this fight?
So there was right away. When the fight got scheduled and they put the March 16th date down, my immediate reaction was that's a long way away. I felt like something could happen. Like I had a feeling like he was going to back out, and I told them that. I voiced my opinion about that. I told James, I told my manager. They talked to the matchmakers. They told me that he was kind of back in a corner, that he was going to have to fight. And then the fight got closer and he got COVID. So they were talking about me having to fight a different guy. I can't remember the opponent. I didn't mind the opponent switch. Like I like the matchup. But I asked, I was like, well, is Jordan gonna fight, or is he done in the UFC? And they're like, oh, he's going to fight again. And I said, well, then I would rather wait. I want this fight, because I've already agreed to this fight. And they're like, no, we want you to take this fight. And I was like, so I'm getting penalized here because this guy backed out of a fight that I knew was too far away. And then luckily, James and Jason House, they have a lot of pull with these guys. They're really respected in the game. And they pulled through for me and said, yeah, we'll take that fight, the fight that was scheduled afterwards, but we want Jordan first. If he's going to fight somebody in the UFC, it's got to be Tim Elliott. So luckily I had those guys going to bat for me, and they just pushed the fight back, and that's the fight that's happening now.
So take me through the history of this, because I was unaware of this. So Jordan said that, I guess you called him out or something. I want to get your side of this because I don't know exactly what happened, but why was there interest in fighting him specifically? Well,
the fight got offered to me, and I said yes right away. And Jason knows, when he asks if I want to fight, he doesn't ask me unless he knows, he knows I'm going to say yes. So,
right, of course, yeah.
I was a little taken away by it because they asked if I wanted to fight, and I said yes right away. And then they came back saying, well, he didn't accept. And I'm like, well, why did you even ask me? Because if you ask me, you got to ask him first, because I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
I talked to James. I was like, hey, I asked about this opponent. And James was like, oh, well, Jordan is actually training here with me. And I think James might have swayed Jordan a little bit into saying no to the fight, it's a bad matchup. So the fight didn't happen. After accepting it, then 2 days later, they offered the Brandon Royval fight. So I ended up fighting Brandon Royval. I was out of shape, wasn't prepared for that fight. We all know how that went down. But then when the fight got offered up again, and I had just fought Benoit, and I was training with James Krause, I kind of turned the fight down. I was like, no, if Jordan's going to come and train in Kansas City, I would rather have him as a training partner. I mean, right. I'm not there's a lot of guys for me to fight, but there's not a lot of good world-class guys to train with. So I told James, I was like, if he's going to be part of the team, I'd rather have him as a training partner. James hit him up. He said he was going to do his camp at home. So James said, this is the fight that you need to take. It's a good matchup for you. I was like, if he's going to train, I'd rather have him as a partner. And James goes, look, you can fight him, and then afterwards he can come train here if he wants. Right. He has the opportunity. And again, James is a guy, if he says fight this guy, I'm not going to question it. I don't care. He knows a lot more about this sport than I do. So it was a fight that he wanted me to get, the fight that he thought was a good fight for me. And even though I said he was going to back out, I was a little worried. He kind of made it to where he had no choice other than to fight me. If he's going to fight in the UFC, he's going to fight Tim Elliott.
Well, and the other thing I found out too, and I didn't know this, that him and Kevin Kroom are good friends. So was there any weirdness with that? Did Kevin say hey, I'm going to stay out of this, or was there anything like that, or?
I mean, him and Kevin are close, and Kevin's not giving me any inside information, but I train with Kevin quite a bit, and Kevin is like James Krause. You're either with us or you're against us.
Right. Yeah.
Or it's us versus everybody right now. And when I first talked about coming back down to Kansas City, James was like, yo, you got to move here. You and Gina got to move here. You got to bring your family here. We're not just doing camps here. You can't just come here, take what you want, and then leave. You got to stay for the guys that need you whenever they have fights. So that's what we did. And again, James said, you're either on the team or you're not. And I'm on the team. Kroom's on the team. And Jordan Espinosa is not. He had the opportunity. It was there.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. How do you feel like you match up against him in this fight? Obviously, he's known for his wrestling. I mean, he's called the state champ. How do you look at this fight from a style perspective?
I mean, good. If wrestling, I don't know. It's hard for me to say this because I came up wrestling, but that's not a real danger factor. If you out wrestle me, what's the worst thing that could happen? I lose a decision. There's no danger in that. You're not gonna. what's scary to me is guys that got like spinning heel kick knockouts and stuff like that. That's scary. Something that can like change the trajectory of your career, but you're not going to hurt my career or my longevity by taking me down. Like that's going to happen. So if wrestling is your strong suit, I'm going to be a hard guy for you to beat. There was guys in the past where I didn't have the fight IQ like Zach Makovsky. He out wrestled me and outsmarted me. But I didn't have the fight IQ then that I do now. So, him being a wrestler and a state champ, I mean, I'm a national champion wrestler, 4-time All-American, also a state champion. Like, nobody brags about the shit they did in high school. I mean,
yeah, okay.
Come on.
Okay, fair enough. Training partners, I know you got a lot at the time of recording this. I know Derek Minner's fighting on the weekend. Grant Dawson. Who are you mainly getting to work with for this camp?
Man, there's so many guys at the gym that are at 125 pounds, which is nice because I could do 5 rounds and have 5 good, tough rounds, and everybody that I go with is 125 pounds. And sometimes out of the 5 rounds, sometimes I'm the best guy that day, and sometimes I'm the 4th or 5th best guy. And it's not – and, there's Jeff Molina in there. There's guys in the UFC in that weight class. There's also amateurs and guys with just a few pro fights, Alan Olivis. Like, these guys, on certain days, they give me all that I want. They don't take no they almost do better with the UFC guys, you know what I mean? Because they got nothing to lose. So on any given day, I'm the 3rd, 4th, 5th best guy in the gym. And God, I love that. I love, sometimes being the bottom man on the totem pole. It lets me know I'm in the right spot. I don't have to fight guys that are 155, 165 pounds. There's plenty of guys that weigh exactly what I weigh that give me fits and give me problems. And, I'm just lucky to be a part of that group.
What's it been like, though? Because you were one of the, I want to say original. Well, I guess so. Like kind of the original guys that started with Glory MMA. I know you went to Vegas. And now you've come back, and it really is a hotbed. Like I saw James Gallagher was training with you guys. I know you've had like Derek Minner, like I mentioned, Kevin Kroom. Like it's been sort of a hub now for a lot of these fighters. How cool is that to see, the gym just flourish and James become this really great coach, which you've told me for years how great he was.
Well, and that's the thing is like when I left here, I didn't want to leave this gym. Like James was my mentor. He was my best friend and he was my coach, but he was building a gym and his whole goals. I asked him, I said, hey, what are your goals as a coach? And we sat down and he was like, I want to make this much money and I want to have this and this and this. And none of those goals said anything about wanting to make a world champion. And when I talked to Robert Follis told me my only goal as a coach is to coach world champions. And when I heard that, I took my shit and I moved to Las Vegas. And then when Robert Follis died, my first fight back, I fought Mark Del Rosa.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Rosa, James cornered me after that fight. James took me upstairs and said, look, man, you left my gym. He said, that hurt me a lot. And then you were saying shit like the reasons why you left. And he was like, it really, really hurt me. And he was like, but I thought about it. He was like, you're right. And he's like, now I want to coach world champions. And it took me a little bit after that to like figure it out. But the gym has changed now. It used to be a gym that had MMA, and James and I differed in agreements. Like I thought the only reason why people came to Glory MMA and fitness was because the guys fighting in the UFC and the fight team. James didn't think that, and the gym kind of shifted from being an MMA gym to a fitness gym, and I left. And now it's the opposite. It's an MMA gym with a kids club on the side and a fitness club on the side. And people come from all around because there's 14, 15 guys in the UFC in there. They want to see that. They see the culture. They see the atmosphere. They see the respect that James demands. And you can be a fat old lady or a UFC fighter. Like everybody's welcome in this gym in Kansas City. And like people stick around. Like we'll go in the mornings on a Monday and there's 50, 60 people in there. Like it's insane. Like it's almost too much for a guy like me, like to see where we came from when there was, it was me, James Krause, and Zach Cummings training together, and I was a flyweight. Like it wasn't easy to get around. And now there's 10 guys in there. There's a 19-year-old kid in there, Sebastian Obando from Peru. Like he's taking my head off with shit. Like these guys are on another level, and like I'm just lucky to be able to be back a part of it. I was lucky enough, and James and I were close enough when we first started this thing that he wanted to bring me back into something good that was happening here. And man, he changed my life. Again. He changed my life again.
Yeah, it's been an awesome fit and cool to see all the success at the gym, including one of your teammates, Julian Marquez, who got a really awesome win on the weekend, a nice comeback win. But I want to get your take on this because a lot of people giving him flack. I didn't like a lot of the stuff in the media, people saying, "Oh, this guy's never had a girlfriend." Like, I looked at it from an outsider's perspective, and I was like, "Look, I thought he handled it well." What's it been like seeing Julian get all that exposure and mixed reviews? I mean, people happy for him with the Miley stuff, but then people kind of disrespecting him as well.
The cool thing about it is, so for me, like, it doesn't really matter what I think because I don't know shit. The cool thing is whether people love you or hate you, like, that ticket sells the same.
Yeah.
Like, want to see you lose. People think you're stupid. People think you're ugly. Like, the most liked pictures on Instagram are ugly ass dogs that got their tongue out. And I'm like, that's what's cute. And like, he's making his own name and making his own way. And like, I think a lot of people don't like that because they're afraid to be themselves. Like, I don't want to say everything that I think online because I'm liable to get myself in trouble or to look silly.
And we all are like that at this day and age, right? Yeah.
I'm not afraid to do that. And I think the reason why he's not afraid is because with Julian Marquez, none of it comes from a place of meanness or destructive. It's all positive. It's all good feelings and good thoughts. And, man, I think the world could use more of that. Yeah, it's silly and shit, but, man, this is a fun job. Like, if you're not having fun with it and you're taking it too serious and, like, you might as well go work a 9 to 5. It's inspiring to me to see somebody just go out and be themselves. And, like, what's you got to lose? You might as well go out and take your shot. I know it's different than everybody else at the gym, and it's different than what James Krause really wants. But, like, man, sometimes fighting is different. It's a different game. It's a different sport. And at the end of the day, it's about entertainment and having fun. And he's doing that. And I think the rest of the team sees that, and the rest of the team feeds off that. So love him or hate him, like, he's got Miley Cyrus retweeting him on the internet, and most people could only dream of that.
Great, and well said. How's this fight playing out on March 6th?
And I said this in an interview earlier. Like, usually I like to go out and be exciting and do all this shit, but my fight IQ has changed. I'm doing things with a purpose now. I'm going to make Mark De La Rosa look bad. I'm going to come out. I'm going to go forward. I'm going to put him on his butt. I'm going to rub his face in the mat, and I'm going to submit him early. I'm not doing that fight of the night bullshit no more. I'm looking at longevity in this sport now. I won my last fight. I'm 2-3 more wins away from being right in contention, and I'm gonna go to my roots and make these guys look bad because I'm better than him.
Before we go here, what did you and Gina get up to for Valentine's Day?
Oh man, we actually had a big Valentine's Day was not a good. We're about to move into a new house, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want anything. I want these earrings." And I got these earrings for her early before Valentine's Day, and I just gave them to her. And then Valentine's Day rolled around, and I didn't get her anything, and like it was an issue.
So it's a sensitive topic. I shouldn't have asked it, is what you're saying.
Well, so easy, like just a little note or something sweet. Like, it doesn't have to be buying or anything. Like, she's so easy, and like I just kind of brushed it under the rug because that's not my thing. And like, I fucked up, but I can always make it up to her. And she's on my team, and she's pretty great. But we didn't really do much. Our whole life just revolves around fighting and my daughter, and like, God, we work together, we live together, we do everything together. So there's not a lot of time to like even go do anything special. But like, man, every second we spend together is for me is just a wonderful moment. And like, I don't need anything other than like exactly what I have. So even though this one wasn't the best, like I still have a lot more to go.
Good stuff, man. And by the way, congrats on the engagement. I know I'm way late, but last time I talked to Gina, she revealed that you guys were engaged. So that's awesome. How was that? You did it on vacation, right? She was saying, I think.
Yep. Me, James Krause, and his wife, and Gina went to Mexico after the Abu Dhabi fights, and I asked her there.
Good for you, man. That's good. Got to lock that up. And you said you bought a house there back home. So I guess do you still have the place in Vegas, or are you now fully immersed in Kansas City?
So we have the house in Vegas. We're renting it out, but we move into our new house here in Kansas City in 6 days. So
congrats, man. That's awesome. Being a homeowner, I've been a homeowner since 2018. It's great.
Lucky for Gina, luckily I have Gina to help me get my shit together. But yeah, that's all her. Like, she's helped me out a ton, and between her and James Krause, like I feel like we have a winning team here, and man, that's everything. Like the sky's the limit right now for Gina and I, and Krause and Jason Witt and Derek Minner and Jeff Molina, and there's 14, 15 guys in the UFC like coming up. Julian Marquez just had a big win. Like, Glory is making things happen right now.
UFC 259 is coming up here March 6th. Tim, really appreciate the time, man. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media? I'll give you the last word.
No, man. Same as always. Like, I don't give all my glory to God or anything like that. All the glory for my coaches and my team and my friends and my family and where I'm at in the moment. And right now, it's all Glory MMA.